Hey, it's Mark watching MTC Media with your Golden Dome report. Look, Notre Dame faces off against Clemson today at noon. It could be the most important game of the season for Marcus Freeman because at this point, Notre Dame's goal should be a New Year's Six-Day Bowl. And for them to be considered for that, they're going to have to win at a Clemson team that today's game is going to be their Super Bowl. Now, Notre Dame got here with a loss to Ohio State, which they shouldn't have had, a game that they had outplayed the Buckeyes throughout, but they severely mismanaged the last two offensive possessions. Now, that could have been a Parker thing, but Freeman is the head coach, so Freeman has to own that. So that's why Notre Dame is in this position. They could have survived the Louisville loss had they won the Ohio State game as far as the New Year's Six Bowl. Now, if you're talking about having a chance to get into the top four, it would have had to been reversed. They would have had to have beaten Louisville, and then they could have survived a close loss on a last play of game to Ohio State, and then they would be considered for that. But that's not, that's a whole different scenario. So for today's game, a lot of people were so impressed with Notre Dame last week. Defensively, I was impressed with Notre Dame. But offensively, I felt like some of the problems that we have seen from Sam Hartman of late with bad passes and bad decisions was in the first half of that game too. So I don't know quite what you're going to get out of Sam today. Now for Clemson, rough week, rough season for Dabo Swinney. If you know me, you know I ain't feeling sorry for Dabo. But he snapped at a caller this week because the caller brought up his $9 million salary, and you can't have a $9 million salary at 4-4. And he got all upset and stuff like that because Dabo wants to win his way, and how college basketball or college athletics as a whole continues to change. Dabo's way is going to look like Bobby Knight, ironically enough, where you want to resist change so bad it's going to be at your detriment, but you think because you've done the things you've already done that you're above it. And that's what happened with Bobby Knight when the landscape for college basketball was changing. He was going to do it Bobby Knight's way because he's Bobby Knight and he had won multiple national championships. So if he burns the ship to the ground, he just burns it to the ground. He felt like he had earned the right to burn it to the ground. And Dabo, not liking NIL and not liking the transfer portal, and Clemson being Clemson, he runs the risk of burning it down unless he can find a way to understand that he needs to change with the times. All that to be said, that Notre Dame is going to get the best version of Clemson today because of that. Home game at noon for Clemson. And they're going to, with their backs up against the wall, their coach being a wounded animal, and I'm sure he's trying to rally the troops, and I'm sure that team feels like this is, again, I think they feel like this is their Super Bowl, and getting out of the ACC might help them against a Notre Dame team that's still playing for something. So this is a trap spot. Now, if Notre Dame gets by today, then you have to take care of the next 2 weeks, which is Wake and Stanford. And Stanford's been a bugaboo sometimes for Notre Dame in their history. So it's certainly not a given over the next 2 weeks, but it starts with today. And there's a huge difference for year two of Marcus Freeman between 2 losses and 3 losses. It might seem like it's only 1 loss difference, but in reality, it isn't. So big game for the Irish today. My prediction, Notre Dame finds a way to pull it out. I'm picking them today. I'm going to go with a 24-23 Notre Dame win. It's Mark Washington from MTC Media.